What's up, Angel City? It's your girl Panda here, bringing you episode 101. Not the freeway if you live here in California, but bringing you episode number 101. Of course, I'm joined today. Alongside me is the one and the only Nina Kiefer. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. Feelings. Episode 101. We are unwell, as Amanda's shirt is saying. But regardless, not sure which, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media channels and get with us in the comments. Oh my God, it's Taco Tuesday. It is not a Thursday. We are throwing everybody off because I don't even think we let people know we were doing this. We're just doing this. We're doing the thing. It's a holiday week.
That's right. I'm very curious. I doubt there's going to be many people on live because one, we didn't really promote it, and we just kind of just decided to do it because, of course, Thursday is the 4th of July. So we're going to be out at a really big matchup. I'm sure joined by a lot of people that probably listen to this pod, whether you support one team or the other. We're all going to be together for this one, and we didn't think that we should do a podcast during that because, it would be ill-advised. So we will be indisposed in some way.
We will be ill-advised.
We will be ill-advised to be giving anybody any kind of information at that point. So
yeah. No, Christian says greetings from the other side of the house because he's there with you, but then Ben tops him and goes greetings from the other side of the win column. Yeah, we are in our feels. This is a sad, sad day. We are calling this 101 the one that is not fun.
Wow. 101 is a heavy one, and it comes off the heels of having such a fun episode. If you did not see episode 100, I urge you to go back and watch it because we did get to do it live from the press box at the stadium right before the Angel City beatdown that happened. So, I mean,
it wasn't a beatdown; it just wasn't a win.
I mean, we did lose by by half the goals that Utah lost by.
We'll take that as a win.
You know, they got beat 6-0. And we only gave them 3. So hey, I don't know, guys. Yeah,
God, Ben, you're killing me today. 101 with a W, like WON.
Or like loss. Dang it, Ben. We need to consult you. You need to advise us on things so that we can be creative and have a little more fun with things. But
I mean, this also reminds me, we have another thing that we wanted to say, and this is going to be our new hashtag trending. You know, Defenders of the Bank, LAFC, they had blame Philly. We are going to be blaming Ben. Ben was not at the game. So what do you think? Hashtag blame Ben?
Blame Ben. This is what he gets for being sick and unable to attend the match. Apparently his drumming might have spurred, a little bit of extra something that we needed. I think without that, we lost some mojo. So maybe there's a little mojo in that drum that you're banging out there, Ben, because without it, we were quite uninspired in a lot of ways. So we hope you're back for our next match, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But have a lot of things to cover. You know how we like to do this. We like to talk to you about some NWSL news. We have a couple little things here to mention, and we'll get into the game recap. We'll walk you back through that game because, it wasn't a great one. And then we'll talk about the upcoming match, and then we will touch on some NWSL news, of course. So without further ado.
Or can we just do away a don't?
What?
I don't wanna.
I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it because
I want to do it today. Like 100 episodes, and I know I don't want to say we didn't have hope, but we knew this was going to be tough.
Sure. Absolutely. We knew that going into this. If we said this in our last episode that they're a tough team. I mean, they have not lost a single match. They are, I don't even know, like 104 draws. I don't know. But either way, we knew it was going to be tough. And with our form and the way that we've been playing, it was going to be a tall task, a tall order. Wasn't really sure what I was going to expect. So yeah, we'll get into it. But let's talk about some happy, some positive, some uplifting news first before we get in and just rain on your parade.
Yeah, before the rain, let's talk about the fun. So we missed the graphics last time. So as you remember, we mentioned that Claire Emsley, as well as Alyssa Thompson, had received call-ups for your different things for the national team. But we got an update. We got one more. Get it, Giselle.
That's
Giselle
right. And
Thompson.
well
You
deserved. I mean, as young as she is and as much of an impact as she makes out on that pitch, I mean, I'm glad that Emma Hayes was able to kind of recognize that and see her talent and know that I think cultivated in the right environment, especially with so much veteran talent and leadership around her in training camps and everything. I think it's only going to help her and make her even better. So, congratulations to the Thompsons. They got a lot of work ahead of them, and of course Claire Emsley, who's had a pretty great season for comparatively to the rest of our team. So we'll take it.
Absolutely. And I want to shout out my mama who's watching on Instagram Live right now. We had a fun game also just celebrating my dad's birthday. We've also got LAFC memes in the chat talking about our players and the game. So thank you to everyone who is joining us on Instagram Live. You can also be viewing us there. We don't get to see those comments as much. So go ahead and join us on YouTube if you want to interact a little bit. That's
Yeah,
where
we would.
it's easier for
Yeah.
us to post comments and everything.
This is one of those pods where I would love to have people's comments because once we get into this game and then kind of like, marinate on our thoughts about things, about where we're at, the direction we're heading, things that need to change. Like, we want to hear what you have to say. Because again, we're not sitting here telling you really we'll tell you what we think, but that's all it is. It's just what we think. We want to know what everyone else thinks and put that out there as well. We want to see how people differ and how people are alike. And is there a common thread above everybody that's like, this is what needs to happen. So we'll get there in just a moment. But again, we have a couple more little tidbits here that we want to talk about. And I think we had mentioned going into the game against Orlando that I think she only needed like 8 or 9 minutes or
9
something.
minutes.
Yeah, to make this.
Minute.
So she did. Rocky Rodriguez. She was able to play. Well, it's probably more than that now because she played the entire game almost. She's got 10,000 minutes is what she reached. What a milestone. She's played 10,000 minutes in the NWSL regular season. That's a lot of minutes. I think we equated that to like 100 and some games.
111 games or something.
Right, exactly. 111 games. And then, of course, we're also going to talk about Sydney Leroux, who had 150 appearances, after that game. And so that's got to be more than 10,000 minutes.
It is.
So I think she probably reached that milestone probably sometime, before
40 games ago.
Yeah, before she came to us. So congratulations to Sydney Leroux and Rocky Rodriguez for putting some time in on the pitch. And we'll talk a little bit more about them in the game. But one more bit of information we want to touch on, and we've mentioned this earlier in the season when it got announced. Nina, what do we got going on? And what are your thoughts about this?
So I know I just got my contacts prescription redone, but when I first read this, I read summer camp. We've got summer camp, and it's not summer camp.
Nina,
it's the summer cup.
This is not. Oh my gosh. I mean, so close, Nina, but no.
So close.
What Nina could not
read. A vowel and a consonant off.
What Nina could not read was that we are gearing up next. Well, we're on July already. So this month, the 2024 NWSL Liga MX Femenil Summer Cup at Titan Stadium in Fullerton, which you guys know our thoughts on this stadium. Ben in the chat couldn't have said it better than we could have ourselves. Fullerton stairs suck. They are steep. They are tall. They are
wide.
Not great, and it's going to be hot because it's July out in Fullerton. Let's talk about that because when we played in Fullerton the very first time, it was in like March, where it was actually
and we were in hoodies.
This is going to be hot. Thankfully, though, these games are going to be in the evening time. They are going to kick off Saturday, July 20th, where we are going to face off between Club America at 7 p.m. And then the second matchup on August 1st will be at 7 p.m. against the San Diego Wave. So those will be very interesting. I'm curious to see how this little tournament shapes up and, if it's something we want to keep going. I can't wait to get everyone's thoughts on that.
Ooh, we've already got some thoughts in the chat. Andy talking about the ticket prices. I quite honestly haven't actually even looked at the ticket prices, but now I'm quite interested. because I would expect no more than $50 a ticket. Like that would be steep in my mind, especially for concrete seats. That's just me. What are you thinking, Panda?
I mean, they're going to be I mean, they start out in supporter section, of course, is cheaper. I don't know what the rules are on that, if you have to be part of a group to get that, but I'm sure Ben can answer that question. You've
Yeah,
got
they're just about $50 a piece
Oh wait,
is what
hold on.
I'm seeing.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold up.
Real quick. I want to point this out. So I hit the wrong link and I got very confused. So there we go. Sorry, I was still in BMO Stadium whenever I looked that up. I'm like, well, these seem okay, but then I realized it was like row G up in 225. I'm like, there's no 225
Yeah.
at Stadium. So let me navigate through that real quick. But I am excited to see us match up against these Liga MX femenil teams and see how we stack up to them. And I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely some seats other than the general admission that you mentioned that are a little pricey, $70 a seat, $118 for section C row A. That's a little steep, I would say, especially not being at home and not being included. I definitely would expect, like I said, no more than $50 a seat, but I think this goes back to when we went to Fullerton, we were selling it out. We were doing a good thing. And I do love Ben in the comments today. He's on a roll. Apparently he's feeling better over here. But Ben said, word is Alex Morgan wasn't selected for that game either. JK, too soon.
Dang, too soon. Too soon, Ben. Too soon. No, it looks like general admission for those games are right out $50. And is that for 1 or 2 games?
Well, Ben says prices are steeper than the stairs. So if that tells you anything.
Well, crap. All right. I don't know. I feel like that's a game time decision, and those ticket prices, maybe they will come down a little bit closer to that matchup. You know how things go. And I know they want to have cheeks and seats, so maybe they will adjust in some way. But either way, put that on your calendar. I don't know what the viewing is going to be for that, meaning if you don't go to the game to watch it, where it's going to be played. Have not looked into that, but as we get closer, we will definitely put that information out so you can catch it because, I don't know if we'll be driving out. I don't know what's going on. I haven't checked my calendar. I'm sure we have 1,000,001 things going on.
Week by week. That's all I got for you right now.
Correct.
I sent a group text earlier this week and I was like, all right, Monday is this, Tuesday is that, Wednesday is this. And we had to schedule time for the kittens. Like,
oh, yes. Yes.
Quite the
time
week.
in there. We also scheduled sleep, a lot of other things.
No, sleep was still TBD, actually. I did not schedule the sleeping.
My bad. So sleep was to be determined. We may or may not get any this week between this podcast and then tomorrow. I know the boys have to do stuff for the preview of the game on Thursday. Thursday's 4th of July. We've got the big Rose Bowl game with the rivalry. And then Friday, probably something. Saturday, we've got Angel City. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then Sunday, I don't know, something else. Sure. Why not?
But I mean, you and I are both doing something really cool this Thursday. We're both going to be on Soccer in 60, which I know you've talked about before and we've posted about as you've been a correspondent on Soccer in 60 for quite some time, finally getting me in the picture a little bit. So I'm super excited to be on that with you. I know, but it didn't count because I wasn't with you.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Hopefully we can get that going. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So tune into Soccer in 60 if you guys have a chance. It covers all of SoCal soccer between the OCSCs, the Galaxies, the LAFC, Angel City, and the Empire Strikers, the indoor team. It's a nice little 60-minute show. Tells you what's going on, what to expect. We have special guests. I'm not sure who's on this time, but we've had Kennedy Fuller. We've had Madison Curry. We've had a lot of big name players from the other teams as well. It's a lot of fun, good show. So anyways,
absolutely. Do we have to do this? Do we have to rip off this Band-Aid?
I guess. Well, let's just jump into it.
Oh man. All right, let's talk about this game. This is not the way I wanted to celebrate my daddy's birthday, but it is what it is. It was what it was. Let's go into it because we'll talk about the stats when the stats come up.
All right, fine. So let's just talk about this game, which you guys, if you're living under a rock, you probably have already heard the news that Angel City did fall 0-3, 0-3, goose egg to 3, whatever you want to call it. We didn't score a goal. against the Orlando Pride following a brace by midfielder Adriana and one goal by forward Barbara Banda. Those names are just going to keep coming off of the tongue when we talk about scoring
Yeah.
for
Okay.
that team.
Can I tangent again? Because I got Shorzy in my head. I got Shorzy on the brain, and it's like, we'll never lose again. Like, I hate losing. I hate losing more than I love winning. I hate losing. And this is just painful. And we just need a Shorzy. We need somebody out there that's going to connect this team and help us get into that place where we're not feeling these things.
I know. Yeah, I understand. I mean, yeah, if you watch that first episode of Shorzy where he was just he was just crying like a big baby. It was great, honestly. And that's kind of how I feel like I want to be at times with these games because I don't know. We'll give your thoughts on the end. Let's get through the game and then we'll just kind of like we'll go back and give our thoughts on how this all makes us feel. But it did suck that on Pride Night, with all of the pomp and circumstance and just the beautiful tifo that the supporters did, which amazing job. I need to like definitely point that out. It was incredible. You guys always put in the work and it shows. So thank you for such a beautiful tifo and the amazing looking the smoke and the fun balloon arch and the all of the people that were there involved in it. It was just such a great night. It's just unfortunate that Pride Night meant something a little different. It meant Orlando Pride Night, and I think there was a memo crossed somewhere, and it was very unfortunate because I think if any time we want to win, it's definitely in front of that crowd because they're just, it's just such an honor to be able to celebrate just inclusivity and just people just being themselves. And yeah, it just rained on that parade, and I'm not happy about it. So let's get through what happened in it. So we're going to start out. We did start out, pretty, hot on the heels a little bit. We had a near miss right early on in the 7th minute. There was a long diagonal ball from Madison Hammond, found the feet of Alyssa Thompson. She was able to sprint her way into the box past Orlando's back line, sent a sharply angled shot towards the far post. Unfortunately, it just went wide. And remind me at the end of this to mention the comment that our seat neighbors mentioned about the grass at the training facility and the grass.
Ooh, yes.
Talk about that. So because there's a common theme with a little bit of what we saw that night. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of how it started. It wouldn't continue that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Pride had their first real chance of the 12th minute when midfielder Marta dribbled across Angel City's back line at the top of the box and slipped a through ball in for forward Barbara Banda, who sent a one-touch shot straight to goalkeeper Didi Haracic. Banda had another chance 5 minutes later when midfielder Yates sent a pass to her feet at the top of the box, and she's able to quickly turn her mark, fire off a shot, which hit the outside netting. Woo, we were all sitting on the edges of our seats then. It was nerve-wracking.
It looked in. I was like, oh, no.
I thought it was at first, and, me with my eyesight, like, it's a whole thing.
We know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the visitors did break through in the 20th minute when Marta won the ball in the midfield, cut inside, and sent a lateral pass to midfielder Adriana. Adriana dribbles that ball to the top of the box and sent her shot to the upper 90 and back of the net. It was a beautiful shot. It makes me so angry.
Yeah, it was outside that 18-yard box. It was a beautiful shot. And I'm going to kind of piggyback off that with this next little bit of information. When we talk about Orlando doubling their lead in the 26th minute, Banda fired off a low shot that deflected off of Sarah Gordon's leg. It fell to the far post where Adriana was making a run and tapped it into the net. Adriana was wide open on that far side. And honestly, if Banda would have looked up and instead of shooting it, would have found her, she still would have netted that goal. And I don't know why she was so open from a spot we obviously know she can score from because she just did it. She was wide open. No one was there. Just kind of like a nice little sitting duck waiting for something like, oh, tapped it in. And again, she could have scored it off the rebound and she could have scored it off a cross. I have no doubt. So that was just not great marking by our defense, unfortunately. And then in the 35th minute,
I start to miss Gilles in those moments. Like, I feel like
Paige Nielsen.
No, Gilles, Vanessa
No,
Gilles.
Paige Nielsen? Gilles, that's another time. We'll get there,
Oh.
guys. We're gonna get there.
Oh, I angered her. I need to.
No, I'm echoing people's sentiments out there. I mean, I don't want to. I want to get into this after the game. I want to
Okay.
air all this out because I got a lot to say. But let me continue on because in the 35th minute, Yates took a hard shot from outside the penalty arc, hit the crossbar. Crossbar? It was far. We couldn't hit it. Crossbar midfielder Julie Doyle got her head on the rebounded ball, but she sent it high. And then Thompson had another chance in stoppage time when she did beat Yates inside the 18. She had an angled right-footed shot on frame, but the keeper, Morehouse, she made the save. And an interesting factoid about Alyssa Thompson is her last goal was on October 8th, 2023 versus Houston. To say she's due is an understatement. I mean,
yeah,
we got to get Alyssa back in the game. We got to figure out how to get her some, to stop having such heavy touches on the ball and dribbling into so much traffic because it's not happening.
We'll talk about that a little later as we keep hinting at. Oh man, early in the second half, the 53rd and 56th minutes, midfielder Kennedy Fuller had a couple of looks from distance, but unfortunately their keeper Morehouse was able to stop both. Angel City continued to push forward, going as the half went on with Thompson putting another shot on target off a low cross by midfielder Rocky Rodriguez, with Morehouse saving it again. She was coming up big for them, but honestly, I felt like our shots weren't as powerful as they needed to be. We will once again be touching on that in just a few short minutes. We are teasing everything today because we have so many thoughts. Angel City's best look of the game came in the 63rd minute when defender Merritt Mathias sent a long ball from deep into the right wing into the box for forward Sydney LaRue. She was one-on-one with Morehouse and took a low-angled shot to the far post, but it hit the post.
Oh, man, that was I think we all thought it was going in. If you look at the supporters behind the goal and the angle that they had on that, they were already cheering because, she had it. She had the angle. It just
it felt so right, and then it didn't happen.
And then you always wonder in those moments what is going to do, how it's going to change the complexion of the game. Does that goal go in and now it's, lead is 2-1, and do we rally back and manage to grab a tie out of it, which would have been amazing, let's be honest. But unfortunately, it kind of took the air out of the sails. I mean, we did have another miss in the 89th minute. We had Megan Reed. She put a looping header from the top of the 6-yard box on target off a corner kick, but Morehouse jumped to tip it over the box. And then there was another corner kick. And then there was kind of an interesting situation. So I'm going to kind of touch on this real quick because we're all very confused in the stadium because they don't show us anything. They don't tell us what's going on. We're all sitting there. We don't know whether to boo or cheer. But there was a moment where the ref went over to check something from VAR. So we were hoping and praying that maybe there was some contact in the box. Maybe there was something that was going to award us a PK. I think that's what we were all hoping for, fingers crossed.
It said checking for penalty foul.
Yeah. So either way, we see that. We don't know what's happening. And then he comes out and he does kind of like this little, he points to a spot that is near the penalty spot, which was what you would do. Mm-hmm. He points down and then he points to the other way. So let me tell you what happened because I went back and rewatched and got some info. But
and then let me tell you how I feel like he should have signaled.
Yeah, Nina, you can tell us how you think it should have gone, but he did a little and then a so we're like, wait, I think we all cheered initially, and then we're like, wait, what? And then I went back and I watched, and we saw the play on the Jumbotron, but we weren't sure what they were looking at. And what it was this pick play with Megan Doherty Howard on Watt that didn't allow her to push through. It's almost like they were completely blocking her out, and she had to push her way through.
Impedes the progress of the opponent.
It ultimately resulted in a foul for ACFC. And when he pointed to that spot after the check that we thought was a PK, he was actually pointing to the spot of the foul.
Yes.
And awarding it to the other team. That's what all that meant. It was all chaos. It's like, wow, nice pump fake on everybody, ref. Come on. Come
So
on.
here's how we should have done it. Let me
All right,
tell
Nina.
you, as someone who has been observed as a referee, gotten this feedback before, when you are not, if you're calling a PK, it's to the spot. And when you are calling a foul, just do two arms at once. Just go, it's here, but it's going that way. You don't need to tease us all, put both arms at once. Kick it from here, your arm pointing down towards wherever it is, and then put your arm in the direction of not a PK because your signaling sucked and you should have been written up and thrown out.
He needs to be in like the penalty box with the US versus Uruguay.
Oh my God, yes.
Talk about terrible reffing, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Let me get my free fan out for that one. Hold on. I don't know how to flip open fans apparently, but
apparently not. All right. So that's how that happened. It was just a weird moment. It was just kind of indicative of the whole match, unfortunately. And then Pride would put the final nail in the coffin in the 6th minute of stoppage time. It was literally like there was 5 minutes of stoppage time and it was like 94-58 when this happened. So it's like, oh, of course, that's what we love to do. Right.
Mhm.
And it was Banda. She won the ball near the top of the 18. She got a one-on-one with Herachich, and she was able to cut past her to put away her shot. And all of this, unfortunately, came off of whatever was poor either communication or passing between Spencer and Gordon. Banda able to pick Gordon's pocket, gets a goal. And let me tell you, the only thing that I enjoyed about this was seeing the Zambian fans going crazy. I don't know if you noticed that, but in that bottom section there on that end, there was just a whole sea of green that you could tell were there for her. And I mean, happy they had that moment for her. I mean, that's exciting. They showed up, they got to see that goal. I mean, at that point, it didn't matter much for us, but man, I felt bad for Gordon. I felt like Banda kind of was like, I think she always had a second gear in her, and she was just kind of, maybe, playing, trying to go toe to toe, but whew, Gordon had a tough task all night long. And unfortunately, that was kind of the last part. Like we said, the match ended 3-0 and saw Rodriguez with her 10,000 minute played mark and also LaRue's 150th NWSL game. So that's how it went. Let's talk about, I like how you have your notes in our notes. I know exactly what you mean. One thing I want to talk about. We have a lot to talk about because a lot of grievances to air. I mean, I could do a whole podcast about this.
On our anger.
One thing that was frustrating was all of the heavy touches that our team has. Like, the one touch that would go out of bounds to no one, or Alyssa Thompson one touching it, and then it either her not being fast enough for the shot she pushed, or it's just going farther than she's anticipating. Mm-hmm. And our seatmate next to us, he said, you have to wonder, does the grass at where do they play at? Or where
Cal
do they
Lutheran?
Is the grass at Cal Lutheran much different than the grass at BMO? Is there something there that when they're practicing and running through drills and doing things that, the touch on their ball requires more effort, and when they get here, they're just sending them and sending them and sending them, because so many times you see that and it's frustrating. So I don't know, maybe something to think about.
Yeah, it's either that or it's water, or it's just like massive differences in enthusiasm, and maybe it's just young talent. It's frustrating as heck. Like, it's just, it makes you wonder, because it seems like when we were passing, we had too much mustard. And then when we were shooting, we had not enough mustard. And we look at the stats. We go to stats because we like math. We like the numbers. Panda, tell us these stats, because usually it's me, but this to me should be a straightforward match.
So
I did not change those stats. I didn't even change the stats slide. That's how angry it made me. I started putting up the old stat slide. Wow is right. Oh.
All right. So guess what? No graphic on this. I'm going to tell you the stats, which honestly, considering the score line, were very, very even. We had 13 shots to their 15. 7 of ours were on target to their 9. 52% of possession to their 48. 381 passes to 362. Pass accuracy almost dead even, 77 and 76. Fouls 10-11. yellow cards, whatever, reds, whatever, offsides, whatever. Corners, we had 6, they had 2. So, okay, as someone who is not like a stats person, or as far as understanding the game from like that kind of level, when you look at that, should the score be 3-0? Or should
No,
it be much more even? And Nina
fix it.
figured it out.
I fixed it.
Good job, good job. Because I look at that, and you would think that with a scoreline of 3-0, they would have a lot more shots and a lot more on target, but we
Mhm.
kept it very even. We just hit it right to them. We had no creative shots that we took. We
No.
we didn't have any, as you said, mustard on our shots that we took. And I guess my question is, looking at these stats and the way the game was played and executed, is this on Becky? Is this on the player's execution? Is this on a whole lot of things that we need to talk about not replacing players that have left, about filling a team with a bunch of youngins, and then not giving them a whole lot of veteran leadership in there, or like we said, not replacing a Paige Nielsen, not replacing an Amandine Henry. Those are huge names to replace 17 and 18-year-olds. Is that on whoever it is that's signing these players? I mean, has Becky been given an impossible task at this point?
I mean, I feel like some combination of all the above. And within that topic of like not having the veteran presence, also, how much do you think, knowing how this team Pride has been playing, do you think that weighs on them? And, it makes me think we just need to get the team a therapist. Like, let's go therapy.
I think their fans need a therapist more than anything. Jesus, come on. No,
Oh my gosh.
I have like so many questions about things, like where is the problem lies? Can another coach, a seemingly better coach, come in and do something different and better with this team? Does it go back to the training pitch and like having them just go like, like shot after shot after shot, work on your shots, work on that. I mean, because
Yeah.
clearly their chances are being creative. They're passing the ball, they're doing it okay, but they're not finishing, they're not scoring. I don't know. Because I don't. I'll be the first to say I don't know the answer. I know the question. I don't know the answer.
We're not behind closed doors. And, Brian in the chat is bringing up a really good point. What is Tweed doing with Bright and Fair? If you sign them, play them and try something. Are we doing the best by our roster? Is the front office doing the best by the players we have to offer? We do have our new technical director, and all of that I feel like is going to make a difference. But how long do we have to wait? I mean, Casey Stoney is out.
I saw the arguments in the in a lot of the chats, and let's be honest. I mean, 75% of the people that are commenting on things don't have a clue. They're it's just wins and losses, and to bring up like, oh, like how was Tweed so good last year and now we're like this year, and I'm like, it's not even the same team, not even close. I mean, we don't have Simone Charlie. We don't have Savannah McCaskill. We don't have Denny Weatherall. We don't have Paige Nielsen. We don't have Amandine Henry. I mean, we have a completely different team, and they're young. They're young. They
Quite
need,
night and day.
yeah, they need time. And even Casey Fair, who is someone we haven't even seen yet. I mean, she's the youngest one on the team, which is crazy. She just turned 17. It's wild. I don't know. I mean, again, that's why we do this. This is why we want you live. We want to know, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to change the complexion of these matches? Can anything at this point change them, or do we just need to like overhaul the whole thing, which I felt like we did this year? But are we a team that'll be good 3 years from now?
I don't want to. I mean, I do want to be good 3 years from now, but
Yeah.
I want to be good now.
I mean, I wanted to be good last year. I wanted to be good the first year. Because it happens. Teams are doing it. So why not me?
Right. It really does feel like, why isn't it us? And when we've already changed out a coach in the first 3 years and we've seen player changes, what else can this team possibly be doing? We say this is a team that really invests in our players and things like that. So what is the big misfire here? because apparently something needs to change. Let's look at these standings because the stats don't paint the picture, but unfortunately, the standings do not lie in this case. And we have a tough road ahead of us as we continue to drop down the table. It's currently sitting in 11th place in week 14. And it's not the end of the world, but I feel like we keep saying that.
Right. It's not the end of the world, but yeah. I mean, is there a chance? Absolutely. There's still a chance. With teams like Bay FC and Racing Louisville, there, that we can overtake, with a win. Well, we really crapped on our goal differential with this last game. Unfortunately, we were doing much better and much more in line of catapulting above Bay FC with a win if they were able to, drop their points. But I don't know. Yeah, it's one game at a time, and I feel for the players. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't really fault them, but I mean, they still are the ones that are out there taking the shots and things. So, at least if they're not going to score the goal, at least want the shots to feel like they're trying.
Like they're hurting the keeper, like they're
Yeah.
testing someone, that they're actually meaningful, and it's not like you or I could get out there and shoot a ball.
Right. I mean, there was that one ball right towards the end. You could tell me, I forgot who headed it in. I think it was Hammond who headed it in, and she had to tap it over, and great. Love that. More of that. Because you just never know. With a hard enough hit shot, you never know where that ball is going to land. It's exactly what happened whenever Banda shot the ball, and instead of collecting it, pushed it out, and Adriana right there. So I don't know, just frustrating. But one thing I want to piggyback on, we were talking about, not having Paige and not having Mendy, and how Ben he said, were we really playing that much better with them? I don't know. We were playing about the same, but if we're going to get rid of them, can we get somebody in that is better? Can we put somebody in there? Why, we've lost, that depth at the very least, and it's not like we had a whole lot in that back line anyways. At least we had that. So
yeah, we've got summer camp coming up. As Ben says, this is a great opportunity to try something out. Summer camp doesn't matter. Let's go to summer camp. For those of you who are joining us late, Summer Cup.
Nina can't read in Summer Cup. Apparently, a summer camp when you have terrible eyesight.
But let's go to summer camp and let's play around. And it reminds me a lot of Ted Lasso. Also, let's go back to more amazing TV shows. Let's find the fun.
Yeah,
let's find the fun of this, because right now we're not having fun. And if you're not having fun, you at least have to be winning. It might be hard work, but at least be winning. Don't be miserable, not doing well, and not having fun.
Right. Kind of throw the pressure out the window and just kind of be like, all right, forget it. Let's just have fun. And sometimes you play a whole different game when you kind of take that off your shoulders. So
yeah, summer camp, here we come.
Either way, whatever happens, whatever has happened, we can't change. What we can change is how they play in the next game. So let's chat real quick about that. We have a home game coming up, Nina, another one. And another one.
Sweat.
At least it's at 7. At least it's not like a noon game in in LA, because it's supposed to be like record heat wave this weekend. So,
and at least we're not in New York where there's also humidity.
Right. Exactly. No, 100%. And
yeah. So we're going to be at home Saturday, July 6th, 7 p.m. against New Jersey, New York, Gotham. The game is going to be streamed on Ion. This is going to be quite the matchup. Gotham currently sitting in 4th place. They're doing pretty dang well. It's not looking super idealistic for us. They've got 8 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws. They've got a +5 game differential or goal differential. They're sitting up a lot higher than us. And when we look at where they are at for the season, they're expected to score at least a goal. They're not going to concede much. They've got 5 clean sheets. They did lose the spirit.
Our record is almost opposite, where we have 4 wins, 3 draws, and 8 losses. They have 8 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah. No, it's not ideal. And, when we look at some of the key factors that are going into this game and those key stats, unfortunately, we have not scored in our last 2 games, but Messiah Bright does have the most shots on target per match for Angel City with 1.6. So
Good luck.
I'm saying it's going to be a Messiah Bright start, but who knows? When we look over at Gotham on the other side, they are unbeaten in 4 away games. Oh, that is quite the statistic. But Gotham is not going to be the same Gotham because of international call-ups. Because unlike us,
They've got a
everyone
lot of
going.
people. They have what, 6 total, 1 alternate, so 5 that were on the team. So they're not going to be there, are they, Nina?
Yeah, I mean, I think we still have to understand exactly what their departure date is, but we've got a lot of the former and current U.S. Women's National Team players on that team, and they shouldn't be there. I'm not inviting them. Rose Lavelle, you go.
Yeah, just go away, get your head right for the U.S. Women's National Team. It's fine. We'll take care of business back home. Ugh, I don't know. Either way, it's gonna be an interesting one. Again, it's at home. I mean, I like home games. I like hanging out with all of y'all. We haven't decided if we're gonna tailgate yet. I was actually getting ready to look at the temperature for the for that
Not
area.
much of a factor, but Amanda and I are also just quite exhausted at this
High
point.
on Saturday at BMO Stadium is 90. So,
Oh,
uh,
mm.
like Brian in the chat said, he's talking a lot about Bright starting, and I kind of agree with that. What I feel like LaRue is almost more of the super sub. I feel like Bright, she takes a minute to get her feet under her, and then she kind of like slowly ramps up into the rhythm, and then it's always like towards the last 10-minute stoppage time where she starts really firing. So I would love to see her start and then have LaRue come in as like a fast super stub or something.
I would like that too. I think that rhythm makes a lot more sense than what we're doing right now. And to answer Martin, we don't know about Thompson and Emsley. We're not sure when everyone is leaving for their different training camps. We're still waiting to find that all out. But I am operating under the assumption that, I don't know, senior year of high school, like senior year of high school, a little checked out, if anything. You might be gone.
Yeah, we don't know. All we know is we told them they shouldn't come. We're just hoping they listen.
We uninvited them.
Yeah, we've uninvited them, telling them to get their head in the game because, we want the U.S. Women's National Team to be ready to go. So they just need to do that. Focus on you, not us.
Yeah, priorities, boo. You got this.
Right?
Let's do you, boo boo.
All right.
Same time. Let's look at NWSL. Same time off by. Oh no, sorry, 7:30 Eastern. I forget to read sometimes. 7:30 Eastern, so 4:30 Pacific. This is going to be a thing. I'm going to need to be watching this from start to finish because this is going to be epic. The number 1 offense versus the number 2 offense. KC Current and Orlando Pride are finally having to face each other on the season. There are number 1 and number 2 teams, both undefeated on the season. And if this is a freaking tie, I'm going to be pissed. I need somebody to lose.
We need someone to knock off the pedestal here of, undefeated teams. And it's going to be it's going to be great. Honestly. I mean, I'm excited to see them play. I mean, I love watching really good soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I need it to be us playing really good soccer.
I would love it to be us, but right now I need one of them to win. If this goes to a draw and they both earn like their 6th draw of the season, they remain undefeated. I don't like that. I don't like that for the table. I want a loss. I want a win and a loss. I want 3 points.
And like you mentioned in the chat, it is going to be on Ion, and that would have been a great game to have on ESPN, a great showcase of all the talent in this league that's accessible to people. Put it on a station or a channel that people can kind of, I don't know, stumble even onto and be like, oh, what's this? And then get drawn into, the talent and, the athleticism and everything on the pitch, which would be great. I mean, who's stumbling onto Ion? I don't know where it's at. Where is it? Cable?
I thought it was channel 30 or something. I don't know. I couldn't find it last time I needed to find it.
There's only 42 things I have to remember as far as the viewing for NWSL. I mean, I'm happy that we've got it in a lot of places, but it's hard to keep up with sometimes. But either way, that'll be on Ion. We'll be in the stadium. We'll probably be having it on our phones. Maybe they'll play it up if you're in a club section, they might have it up somewhere. And it's going to be a good one, but hopefully someone comes out victorious and not just a tie. We don't want to keep this going any longer.
Yeah, let's get it done. And, we talked about on our last pod without all the cool graphics, everyone that had been called up to the Olympics from the NWSL for the US women's national team. But we got more call ups. Canada. We forget about Canada. Poor Canada.
Poor Canada. I mean, no
But we
poor Canada. They advanced in the group stages in the Copa tournament for the men. So
I know. And,
love that.
we have to shout out, of course, as always, Lauren Sesselman, who did play for Canada. But we do have several players from the NWSL that are getting calls for Canada. And that, I think, to me, still continues to prove that the NWSL is the place to go if you are a professional woman in soccer. This is the place to be playing. We are one of the hardest teams. And we've got some great names on here. You've got Sheridan, the keeper for the Wave, who is doing fantastic 99.99999% of the time. Quinn, who continues to dribble around us. They have some firepower on here. Portland Thorns taking the majority of those calls, but of course, Gotham's still getting at least one player that needs to go away from them. Ooh, it's going to be a matchup. It's going to be a fun Olympics. And that's not just because of Simone Biles and the U.S. gymnastics team, who are wearing the coolest uniforms of all times and
Gosh, they're
continuing
so
to kick butt.
pretty. Oh, so pretty. Real quick, I have to address this. Is that true, Brian? I haven't seen it, but Bob Iger was was in the stadium at the game. He
Oh,
with Disneyland. I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
that would be fantastic because we need money.
Yes, we need
Not just
money.
you
We
and
need
I, but
yes.
Angel City needs money.
Interesting. Yeah. Apparently, they're saying CEO Bob Iger of Disney and his wife are close to purchasing control of Angel City FC. And yeah.
So we call back because we know they're listening to this podcast and making their decisions based on this. Yeah, fantastic team. Definitely come, please.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully it's Iger, not Disney, as Andy said in the chat. That'd be fun. I'd love for that to happen. They were there, so I don't know. Do you think they backed out of it after seeing that performance, though, or do you think he looked at it as opportunity that he needed to step in and yeah, like
Definitely opportunity, but also, oh shoot, he's texting. No, I'm just kidding. God, I wish I was important sometimes.
No, we're not. That's okay though. All right. Anyways, let's yeah. I think Brian's right. I think he saw as an opportunity to put some money into it and make us a franchise winning team. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's hope that that's on the horizon. Brighter days are ahead, y'all. So.
Absolutely. We've got so much to look forward to. This team is still so new and so young, and there's so much development that could be had. Anything to say before we close with our quote?
No, just that it's okay to, be frustrated right now and to air some grievances and to question, what needs to happen. I get that. But, we always still got to stay positive. I know these players see these comments too. And I know, some of it, yeah, it's probably hard. They're still on a level where that stuff, like, I think affects them. They're not like, at those levels, where, I'm sure like the Dodgers and the Lakers aren't reading comments on Instagram. And these girls still are. And, I know they want it. I think, there's just, some misguidance and maybe misappropriation right now with what we've got and maybe doing the best with what we do have. I don't know. But either way, brighter days hopefully are ahead, and excited for anybody who's going to Paris or who's going to, hang out with the U.S. women's national team or Canada or wherever you're going. Good luck, ladies. It's such a joy to watch you and keep talking about you.
Yeah, let's end with a quote. This one coming to us, of course, from our coach, Becky Tweed. She says, "This league still remains to be so competitive. I heard someone say the other day, every win in this league is like a cup final. Every game is a grind." And this last one definitely felt like a grind, but there are better days ahead. We just got to shake it off and get ready and go. I believe in us. I know you believe in us. We just got to get it done.
Yeah, we got to get it done. Hopefully they can shake it off. Shake it off. And then we'll see everybody hopefully on Saturday. Maybe we will see you Thursday at, tailgate for LAFC versus Galaxy. I know we got a lot of people who are fans of either of those teams as well. So come say hi if you get the chance. If not, well, hopefully we'll see you all soon at a tailgate near you. Thank you for joining us, everybody in the chat. So happy to see you on this little Tuesday surprise little pod. So anything else you got?
No, Panda, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good, because you're going.